You lie awake again, staring at the ceiling, your mind spinning like a carousel that refuses to stop. Every decision you've made today, every word you've spoken, every glance exchanged, it all replays, sharper and louder than before. You've trained yourself to notice everything, every nuance, every potential threat, every invisible mistake. And for years, this made you safe. This made you vigilant. This made you the one who never faltered, the one who always anticipated the storm before it arrived. But here's the paradox. What once protected you now binds you. That sharp awareness, that gift of hyper-attentive caution has transformed into a trap. You are awake in every moment, yet paradoxically, you are exhausted by the very act of being alive. You see every possibility, and in seeing them all, you are paralyzed by none. The mind that once saved you now sabotages you. And this, you realize, is not weakness. It is the weight of survival instincts that were never meant to rest. Every what-if that crosses your mind is not just a thought. It is a fragment of a nervous system trained to anticipate disaster. Every choice you delay, every conversation you overanalyze, every text you reread 10 times, it is a symptom of a mind that cannot unlearn the habit of perpetual vigilance. And yet, in this chaos, there is a strange intimacy. You are living in your own mental universe, alone yet acutely aware of everything around you, a prisoner of your own attentiveness. What you are experiencing is not simply indecision. It is the psychological imprint of hypervigilance, a state first described in trauma research as a nervous system permanently tuned to danger. Hypervigilance rewires your brain. The amygdala becomes overactive, alert to threats, while the prefrontal cortex becomes a relentless auditor, analyzing every choice, every word, every social cue. But hypervigilance is not the only factor here. This pattern is often entwined with perfectionism and anticipatory anxiety, psychological constructs that grow from early experiences of conditional approval. When a child learns that love or safety is contingent on flawless behavior, the mind internalizes an unspoken contract. If I predict and prevent every mistake, I will be safe. Over time, this manifests as cognitive overactivation, the constant running of neural pathways designed to predict, evaluate, and correct. Another term to understand is ruminative looping, a habitual mental cycle in which thoughts recycle endlessly, each iteration magnifying tension, guilt, or fear. The person who overthinks is often locked in this loop, a neurological feedback system that rewards anticipation and punishes perceived inattention. Their mind is a hall of mirrors, reflecting every possibility back onto itself, amplifying uncertainty. In essence, your brain is doing exactly what it was trained to do: protect you. The tragedy is that the world no longer requires this level of a constant scanning, yet your nervous system does not know how to stop. You carry the weight of hyper-awareness, a cognitive armor that once saved you, now a cage. The emotional toll of this constant mental vigilance is subtle, yet profound. It is an invisible grief, a quiet erosion of joy. You sacrifice authenticity for certainty, spontaneity for foresight, ease for the illusion of control. Life becomes a series of calculated risks, each interaction a potential misstep, each choice a test you cannot afford to fail. Philosophers have long grappled with this human predicament. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. For those who overthink, the soul is dyed with anxiety, tinted with doubt. The mind that predicts danger cannot predict pleasure. Every small moment is weighed, measured, and dissected before it can even be lived. The core fear is simple yet terrifying. The fear of being wrong, the fear of being judged. The fear that if you let your guard down even for a moment, you will fail, you will be seen, you will hurt. This fear, though invisible to the outside world, dominates your inner life. It turns ordinary experiences, like sending a text, speaking in a meeting, or making a minor choice, into high-stakes mental operation. Your overthinking is not choice. It is a survival ritual, one that costs you time, energy, and the spontaneous intimacy of life. You might think overthinking is harmless, a quirky personality trait, but it manifests in ways that infiltrate every corner of your adult life. You might hesitate endlessly before making decisions, from career changes to weekend plans, as if every choice could fracture your carefully constructed sense of safety. You might relentlessly replay conversations, extracting meaning, imagining offense, and rehearsing responses that never need to be spoken. You become an expert in self-censorship, withholding opinions or desires to avoid imagined judgment or conflict. Relationships feel like balancing acts, where spontaneity terrifies you and vulnerability is a calculated risk. In the workplaces, you may over-prepare, over-analyze, and second-guess, exhausting yourself while others move forward with simplicity. Even in solitude, your mind refuses rest, running simulations, predicting outcomes, and constructing invisible hierarchies of control. Each of these behaviors is not a flaw of character. They are coping strategies, neural patterns forged in the fires of a nervous system designed to survive, not to thrive. The first step to unlearning them is witnessing them without judgment, observing the overthinking as a process, not as a condemnation of who you are. Recognizing the pattern is the first crack in the armor. The path to wholeness does not lie in silencing the mind, but in teaching it to rest in trust. Healing begins with inner child reparenting, acknowledging the part of you that once had to be vigilant to survive. Shadow work allows you to recognize the cost of hypervigilance without self-criticism. Mindfulness, reframed not as performance but as compassionate observation, teaches the mind that safety can exist even without constant scanning. Philosopher Soren Kierkegaard once said, "Life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards." The overthinker must learn to honor their past survival strategies while gently releasing their hold on present life. To overthink is human. To witness overthinking without shame is liberation. Your mind may never fully quiet, but you can choose softness over vigilance. You can let joy infiltrate moment by moment. You can respond rather than react, observe rather than anticipate, live rather than calculate. And in doing so, you reclaim the life that was always meant to be yours. Not a life of perfection, but a life of presence, authenticity, and delicate freedom. You are not broken. You are awake. You are alive. An awakening for the first time might be your greatest act of courage. If this spoke to you, if it echoed in the quiet chambers of your own mind, share this journey and subscribe. Because understanding the mind is not about fixing it. It is about becoming whole.